Prosecutors have uncovered billions in fraud here. I think it's $9 billion in 14 different programs that fraudsters have used to defraud Medicaid here. After we were reporting in November, we got a tip to look into assisted living facilities, and we did and reported it out. And now we believe our reporting suggests that that is the 15th program that is being used to defraud Medicaid. Here's what we know now. The number of people getting help in assisted living facilities is up, double the growth of other programs. But here's the kicker. The rate of payment in this assisted living space is 10 to 15 times the growth in other programs. So we pulled the data on assisted living facilities in the Minneapolis area. Minneapolis has a lot, 169. St. Paul has 83, but Brooklyn Center, a suburb of 30,000, has 106, and Brooklyn Park, population 84,000, has 181, more than Minneapolis, the city 5 times its size. But one assisted living facility puts this all into perspective. A defendant in the Feeding Our Future scandal owns a few assisted living facilities and is continuing to bill the state while awaiting his trial. Gandhi Mohammed was indicted for laundering $1 million in that case. His LLC owns homes around Minneapolis. Last year, those homes brought in $2.3 million from the state.
All right, family. So let me break this all the way down for y'all, because this right here is the kind of truth the mainstream liberal media doesn't want to touch. And you ain't going to hear this on CNN, MSNBC, now known as MS Now. None of that alphabet noise, okay? They're too busy protecting narratives to report facts. But shout out to News Nation. Yeah, look, News Nation, they're growing on me, okay? And I feel like these mainstream media outlets should have been done what Nick Shirley done, but I feel like News Nation is definitely taking notes from Nick Shirley. And shout out to Nick Shirley. Go subscribe to his channel, subscribe to The Truth, and he's doing the Lord's work. But I just want to put that out there for the simple fact that at least News Nation is taking notes and decide to do true journalism, unlike the liberal media outlets that I mentioned. So at the end of the day, them actually going out and doing real journalism, you know, that thing that reporters used to do before they became propaganda pushers. So they went door to door, literally digging into a story that most newsrooms would bury. And what they found is insane, which is assisted living facilities, okay? Places that are supposed to take care of your grandma, your uncle, your disabled cousin, and are being used as money laundering machines. And these folks are running straight up fraud factories. And here's the wild part. They're still getting taxpayer money even after getting federally charged with fraud. Let that sink in. Charged, busted, still getting checks. Now tell me what kind of system keeps paying out millions to people who already got caught scamming it. That's like the bank catching you stealing and then they giving you a bonus for creativity. It's wild to me, but now I want you guys to check out this second clip in regard to the matter.
Trump administration is asking for data from all the states on SNAP recipients. I think 29 have said yes, mainly Republican states. Wisconsin has said no. Why not give the data to see if there's any bad apples or fraud within the system?
Well, that system is analyzed every single year, and we feel confident in it. So, the idea that they're asking for this information, they're looking for ways to get out of doing it, frankly, and that is inappropriate. I mean, we have people in the state of Wisconsin that need help making sure they're having nutritious meals, and so we feel the program right now is working just fine.
All right, so I played that clip. As we continue to dive in this story, brace yourself because it's going to infuriate you and piss you off. I'm just giving you a warning, FYI, for your information. So look, what makes this even crazier is the fact that these blue states, the ones taking billions in federal money, are telling the feds, nah, we're not going to tell you who we're giving the money to. That's real. States like California, New York are refusing to share who's getting SNAP benefits. That's food stamps, even though it's federal dollars paying for it, right? And do you wonder why that these, in this case, the Somalian group that are using services that are a necessity when it comes to childcare and the elderly, they are basically using those type of programs as a way to get guaranteed money, because at the end of the day, no taxpayer, American taxpayer or taxpayer, have any problem with passing the buck on to helping those who are in need, right? Or helping the elderly who have been in the workforce and now they're no longer capable to do the things that they used to do, right? And it's a good thing. It's a good cause. But it's not a good cause when the simple fact is these programs that the government all the way down to the taxpayer dollars, we have no problem helping. But the simple fact is you don't want to give the data to programs that we are willing to help, but we are getting our taxes taken non-negotiably, right? Based on whoever creates the policy, right? And the whole point of elections is for us as citizens is to elect the individual who has our best interests as Americans, as taxpaying citizens. Hopefully, we all know that's not the case, especially when it comes to these blue states. But basically, this Somalian group and the Somalians, it's not about race or anything. This is about fraud. I want to put that out there. It just happened to be these group of individuals are doing the fraud. The Somalians, they are basically it's fraud tourism to me, right? They are looking for places that have less oversight in these blue states that are not willing to give over the data to the federal government, but they want to take federal monies that is basically curated from taxpaying citizens, and basically saying, look, we think our program is fine. You don't need to look into it. Just keep giving us the money. And I say all that to say that tells you that they're taking your money and telling you to shut up about how they spend it. That's like lending someone your debit card and them telling you, don't worry about what I brought. Nah, bro, I want to see the receipt. I want proof. I want receipts, right? And you can tell it's not good oversight when it comes to Minneapolis in the state, because I have known, me working at Wendy's and working in the food industry and working in the healthcare floor industry, as far as being a janitor, that they do food inspections every year. They come out and do hospital inspections every year. And obviously these assisted living programs and these daycare programs, also with my child being in daycare, at one point in time, they did inspection on a yearly basis, and they wouldn't tell you when they coming, but they were coming. Obviously these states don't care, but they don't even care enough to give over the data. So are you surprised? So what I look at it like is Minneapolis is obviously the place for criminals who want to commit fraud, right? They are looking at it for tourism. That's what I call it. In the name of fraud, they're looking for states intentionally that have a little bit of oversight so they can get over on the states and get over on taxpayer citizens, which is so disrespectful. But now I want you guys to see in regards of News Nation digging in more into the matter. Okay, check it out.
Assisted living. Take a look.
Let me turn up the volume.
This may look like your area, and it is assisted living. Take a look. This may look like your typical single-family home, but it bills itself as an assisted living facility, and it receives a lot of taxpayer money. Here in Minnesota, the number of people getting help in assisted living facilities is up, double the growth of other programs. But here's the kicker. The rate of payment in this assisted living space is 10 to 15 times the growth in other programs. Hi. So we pulled the data on assisted living facilities in the Minneapolis area. Minneapolis, as you might expect, has a lot, 169. St. Paul, with a population of 307,000, has 83. But Brooklyn Center, 30,000 population, has 106. And Brooklyn Park, population of 84,000, has 181, more than Minneapolis, a city 5 times its size. But this assisted living facility puts this all in perspective. It's owned by a man indicted for laundering $1 million in the Feeding Our Future scam. He's Gandhi Mohammed, now Gandhi Abdi Kadai, and his LLC owns the homes. His wife runs the assisted living facilities, and the state is continuing to pay as he awaits his trial. Okay. We went to each of them.
We're curious because the man who owns this building was indicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. Did you know that?
No.
Don't know that?
No. You did what?
Do you know the Feeding Our Future scandal? The scam that was, there's all these indictments related to false, billing on feeding
No,
children.
no, that's not true.
That it's not.
She said, no, that's not true. So obviously you can't speak to something you don't know about. So if you're saying that's not true, you obviously know about it. She's lying and she's trying to save face for this assisted living program.
Not true that
No,
he.
that's not true. The way I
Business.
know her, no.
These assisted living facilities received over $2.3 million in state money last year alone. A Minnesota Reformer article says he has been paid a whopping $49 million since 2016.
How is it possible that this person who's been indicted in Feeding Our Future also is still collecting checks from the state, running these assisted living centers with his wife?
I honestly have no idea. It seems like the most basic due diligence would have been to run a check of all the people indicted in Feeding Our Future and then make sure they're not getting paid from other state programs. And at least in this case, and I've heard perhaps in others, they didn't do that.
State Representative Kristen Robbins is the chair of the House Fraud and Oversight Committee here.
So this person owns assisted living facilities and his wife runs the service provider part of it. So he owns the property. One of the properties was purchased with the same shell company he used to money launder in Feeding Our Future. And now that same shell company has been used to buy a new assisted living facility property. It's unconscionable that they haven't done the most basic due diligence to cross-check that Feeding Our Future defendants aren't getting additional state money.
Now, we reached out to this man and his wife and yet to hear back. We also reached out to the Department of Human Services here, and they gave us a statement. In part, it basically says, ultimately, they can't cut funding from this guy because he is simply a landlord, essentially because his wife runs the services for these assisted living.
Wow. Right? And this is an entire playbook. This is a full blueprint that people are running across the country, right? They're not building real businesses, right? This, like, for example, right? We are talking about Minnesota, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. And they're building shells, fake daycares, fake home health companies, fake assisted living facilities, all set up just to get government grants, subsidies, and handouts. And obviously it can qualify to get government grants because it's obviously going to a good cause and a common cause in regards of helping our seniors, helping our children who are the future. And it's just a shame, right? The most vulnerable, the most innocent are the ones who are obviously hurting in this case because the monies aren't going to the cause of the whole purpose of the government grants and subsidies. And here's where it gets even dirtier because obviously they're doing it on purpose in states like Minnesota, where the oversight is a joke. They're calling it, now it's called, like I said, fraud tourism. People literally move to certain blue states because they know the government don't care. You fill out some paperwork, check a few boxes, and boom, you got the keys to the taxpayer vault. And the unfortunate part is, I feel as though we need to get away from this old traditional paper, check our boxes, put your hours, and just submit it to the state or whoever Department of Human Services within that state, and then they just hand you the money with no oversight. How about we actually, the same way the government likes to make sure they electronify our transactions, making everything electronic and making us have to do direct deposits on debit cards or pay cards and stuff like that. If you don't have a debit card, your job will give you a card where your direct deposit will go on there from your monies that you get paid when you get your paycheck. And obviously that company through that third party card will take a couple dollars or a percentage out of your monies every time you try to withdraw. But the point is, they can electrify to make sure they track us as citizens, but you can't do this when it comes to our taxpayer money. It's disgusting. And it really makes you stop and think, maybe the American dream ain't dead. Maybe it's just being achieved through fraud now. Forget hard work. Forget starting from the bottom. Just start a fake healthcare company in a blue state and let the checks roll in. It's like we entered a whole new version of capitalism, fraud capitalism. No real product, no real service, just real money being stolen by people who know how to play the game. And I want you guys to see this last clip in regards of the matter. Check it out.
Somali-linked taxpayer fraud isn't just being investigated in Minnesota. It's also happening in Maine, where a health contractor is accused of defrauding the state's Medicaid program of millions of dollars. Now, Republican lawmakers there are demanding accountability from Democrats. Let's go to News Nation's Alex Capriello. Alex, good evening. I know you've been following this story since we found out about it. These lawmakers today said the alleged Medicaid fraud only scratches the surface. What are we learning?
Yeah, that's right, Hannah. At its core, the primary allegation is against one organization that lawmakers believe improperly billed the state's Medicaid program for millions of dollars. But they also recognize that more than 5,000 groups bill MaineCare every day, every year. And they wonder why it's taken so long for the government to catch up on this possible fraud. To answer that question quickly, the lawmakers thanked investigators like News Nation's Rich McHugh. He was the one who actually broke this story weeks ago. He spoke to a whistleblower who claims that Gateway, a nonprofit which provides social services to immigrants, filed false records to bilk millions of dollars from Maine taxpayers by defrauding the state's Medicaid program. That's, of course, called MaineCare. They say this is just another example of widespread fraud like we're seeing in Minnesota. Take a listen.
This is going to have implications for the state of Maine in the billions with a B of dollars. This will spell financial Armageddon for our state. We have got to get a handle on this problem.
My constituents and the constituents of my caucus members have had enough. The tax-paying citizens of Maine have had enough of fraud, waste, and lies.
It's blue states for you, right? You guys seen in the clip that I showed you guys with the man sitting there and basically saying he's giving nutritious meals. These blue states like California and New York, they're refusing to give data when it comes to SNAP benefits. That's food stamps, even though it's federal dollars paying for it, right? And like I said, it's not just Minnesota. You know, there's fraud everywhere running rampant, and most majority in these blue states. And I'm gonna call it what it is, and we need to stop pretending like it's a coincidence. This whole thing benefits one group and one group only, the Democratic Party. Strip away the handouts and ask yourself, what does the Democratic Party actually offer? Outside of, we'll give you some more free stuff, what's left? The welfare state is their whole business model. And if someone like Trump or anyone honestly comes in and say, let's audit this thing, they go crazy. Oh my goodness, Trump is the king. Trump is Hitler. He's trying to take away, this is white supremacy. What are you talking about? They start screaming about how cancer research will be cut and how AIDS patients will die and how babies in Africa won't get medicine. Nah, you're scared of the receipts. That's the truth. At the end of the day, if you're working hard for your money, what is wrong with Donald Trump saying we want to cut away taxes, cut away the bloat, the waste, and the fraud, and put more money in your pockets so you could pave the way and actually use your monies that you are entitled to for yourself and not go to this wasteless fraud? That's all it is. See, Republicans is the party of you work hard, you earn what you get, and at the end of the day, the hustle don't cheat you. You get in what you put out. You get out what you put in. And the simple fact is, you should be able to use your monies to pave the way for yourself and not to be controlled by the government. The Democrat Party is the party of censorship and control. That's why they want you to take the money and they want to sit there and act like they want to tax the rich. But obviously the rich has enough resources and money to move. But who does it hurt? The middle class family, the people that they always touting about and saying that they're helping to make life affordable. But obviously they always make life worse. So that's what I mean in the simple fact that the Democratic Party doesn't have nothing to offer but free stuff, which only the free stuff costs you because it's really not free because it's through your taxpayer dollars. So is it really free? The simple fact is the Democratic Party is scared of the receipts. That's the truth. And because if the people really saw where the money was going, because you got to follow the money, it always comes down to the money. A whole lot of politicians will be out of jobs and probably behind bars. And I'll go even further. A lot of this fraud is happening in swing states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Maine. We just seen in this clip of Maine. You don't think that's strategic, bro? Come on, bro. You got to keep people dependent on government programs in swing states, and boom, you control the vote. That's how they stay in power. It ain't about helping the people. It's about owning them. What about actually people having the freedom to shape their lives and actually have more money in their pocket, because more money means more resources where they're able to do things in regards of investing in themselves, so they won't be owned, but they'll actually have ownership. I think I'm talking too foreign for y'all now. I think I'm cutting up too much. Do I need to scale back a little bit, family? Let me know down in the comments. And if you got this far in the video, give this video a big thumbs up, man. Like the video, subscribe if you're new to the family. Just hit the subscribe button, man. And if you are a part of the family, I appreciate you. And if you watch this far, I appreciate you just for watching. But my whole point is, look, man, it's fraud that's running rampant. They protect fraud like it's gold. And anytime someone tries to expose it, like Nick Shirley or now News Nation, they try to cancel them. They don't argue the facts. They attack the person. Why are you knocking on doors? You harassing old people. Nah, we harassing fraud. And if the frauds living in assisted living homes, and then yeah, we knocking on those doors too. We knocking on those doors too. You feel me? We gonna protect the elderly in the name of fraud. And I'm gonna leave it there, family. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. At the end of the day, the truth needs to be spoken, and I want to know you guys' thoughts. At the end of the day, love you guys, appreciate you guys. Peace.